Hello, Oilers fans. Austin here, and welcome to the day after discussion of the Oilers 4-3 loss to the Vancouver Canucks. The Oilers now fall behind 2-1 in the series, and if they want to win this series, they have to win 3 of the next 4 games, and that seems like a daunting task for a team that has now lost 6 out of 7 games against the Canucks this year, if you include regular season and playoffs. And the Oilers, I thought they started off the game really well, and then as the game progressed in that first period, Vancouver was really turning it up. They were getting some looks, and they were scoring because Stuart Skinner has become Swiss cheese once again in round 2, just like he did against Vegas last year in round 2. And any goodwill that Stuart Skinner had from the fans after the first round against the Kings has completely disappeared now. This is 3 games in a row where Stuart Skinner has not played good enough. Yes, the Oilers won in game 2, but they could have stolen game 1 if Stuart Skinner had just been a little bit better, and then they could have stolen this one as well. And I say stolen because even though the shot map looks outrageous, the Oilers outshot the Canucks 45-18. At 5-on-5, the high danger chances were only 8-6 in favor of the Oilers. So despite the fact that Edmonton dominated on the shot clock, when it comes to those high danger looks, they were very even at even strength. The Oilers scored 2 goals on the power play. The Canucks also scored 2 goals on the power play. What is killing Edmonton right now is at 5-on-5. The Oilers are not getting contributions throughout their lineup at even strength, and it's been a huge difference maker. And Artur Shelov's for the Vancouver Canucks has been standing on his head, and you have to give a lot of credit there. And you have to give credit to how Vancouver plays in the defensive zone as well. They're passive in that they don't allow you to get anything in the inner slot area, those high danger looks. They keep you to the outside, and they block a ton of shots. And for the Canucks, they don't care if they're being outshot. Rick Tocchet has stated numerous times this season that he's not concerned about how many shots are against him. He's concerned about where the shots are coming from on the ice. And if you're a Canucks fan, you are happy with this result. Of course you are. And there's gonna be a lot of talk about the officiating once again. I'm going to say it right now. As an Oilers fan, the Oilers are not losing this series because of officiating. They did not lose last night because of officiating. The officials have made boneheaded calls both ways. But at the end of the day, you've got to score at 5-on-5. You've got to score at even strength. You need depth scoring, and you need a save from your goaltender. All things that the Oilers are not getting right now. So can you be frustrated at the officials? Of course you can. I'm not saying that you can't be frustrated at the officials. I think the officials in the playoffs this year have proven to be absolutely, putrid. But we talk about the officials every year. This is nothing new. This is not a new narrative. This hasn't just come out of the blue. So, when we talk about the officials, I'm going to leave it at that. Edmonton is not losing the series because of officiating. They are losing because Vancouver has been better. Plain and simple. I'm just putting it out there. And you can say, well, the Oilers expected goals. I understand that. But at the end of the day, Vancouver has been better, in my personal opinion. The Oilers haven't been good enough. And, for as much as Vancouver's beating Edmonton, the Oilers are also beating themselves too. So not to take anything away from the Canucks here. The Canucks deserve to be up 2-1 in the series. And if it wasn't for a lucky goal in overtime in game 2, they could definitely be up 3-0 in this series. So if Edmonton wants to have a chance at coming back here, they need to pick it up. They need to pick it up. They need contributions from other players not named Hyman, McDavid, Draisaitl, Ekholm, and Evan Bouchard. Those are the only 5 players actually contributing anything on offense right now, and it's not good enough. Plain and simple, not good enough. But there is a lot to talk about, so I hope you stick with it. If you like my playoff content so far, if you've been liking the live streams, if you like these day after discussions, the pregame reports, all that good stuff, make sure you hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, I hope you enjoy your stay. If you're not subscribed yet, make sure you hit that sub button. We recently passed 2,200 subscribers. We've gained like 400 subscribers since the playoffs started, which is crazy to me. So thank you all so much for your support. It means the world. So with that intro out of the way, let's get into the day after discussion. So bottom of the screen in the purple writing there, that is the advanced stats at 5-on-5 from the game last night. And then, of course, we have our talking points, our topics on the right-hand side. Vancouver leads the series 2-1. What will I be discussing today? Well, number 1, where is the depth? Where is it? Depth has been an issue all season. There was a lot of people that were saying that Adam Henrique and Sam Carrick were not enough at the trade deadline to address the scoring depth in this lineup. The Oilers are a top-heavy lineup, and once again, in the playoffs, they have been top-heavy. They are not getting contributions from players that you would expect them to right now, including guys like Nugent Hopkins, Evander Kane, Warren Fogle, Ryan McLeod, Corey Perry. They're not getting offense from anybody at the moment. next thing I'll discuss is the Soucy. Will he be suspended for that cross-check on Connor McDavid? I will touch on that just briefly. It's not going to be a very long talking point, but I did want to bring it up. And then, of course, we're going to talk about Stuart Skinner. Simpsons reference. Skinner's not been good enough, and we will be discussing his play. Nurse-Ceci, once again, I am beating this. I mean, like I said the other day, there is literally no flesh left on the horse's corpse for me beating it at this point. But Nurse-Ceci, again, this is a major talking point, and I am going to discuss it once again. I will have everything timestamped on this video, so if you don't want to hear me rant about Nurse-Ceci again, you can totally skip it. All these topics, you can just skip wherever you want in the video. I will have the what is it called? I just said it. The talking points split up, time-stamped for you, all right? And next thing I'll talk about is unsustainable ice time. Last night, the Oilers went very top-heavy with their ice time. Draisaitl and McDavid played 30 minutes almost each. And, when we talk about depth scoring, well, you would like depth scoring, but if you're not getting a lot of ice time or an opportunity or regular shifts, that can also affect your game too. Chris Knobloch has started to panic. And just like Jay Woodcroft before him and Dave Tippett before him and Todd McClellan before him, these coaches are being outcoached in the postseason. But for the most part, this is Chris Knobloch, maybe showing... And Knobloch, he's a rookie NHL coach. He's not a rookie coach, and that it's not like he doesn't know what he's doing behind the bench. But this is definitely a situation where I think he is starting to overthink how he's utilizing his players, his player usage. And if he's not careful here, the Oilers are going to bow out in 5 games in round 2, and some of this is going to fall on his shoulders as well. So, of course, I will have closing thoughts after. So before I get into where is the depth, I will just briefly mention the Oilers, more advanced numbers last night at 5-on-5. Their expected goals for percentage was 60.97%. That's good. Corsi for percentage, 69.41%. High danger Corsi for percentage, 57.14%. And scoring chances for 64.10%. Now, the high danger Corsi for 57.14%. Like I said, it was actually 8-6 in favor of the Oilers at 5-on-5, 8 high danger shots or shot attempts, and the Canucks had 6 high danger shot attempts at even strength. So it's not like the Oilers had a massive edge there. And we'll just kind of move on to discussing the Oilers' depth. Where is it? A couple players I want to bring up. I've already talked about Ryan McLeod. Corey Perry, these guys that in the bottom 6 that aren't contributing, and you don't always expect the bottom 6 to score a goal for you. But we're getting to the point now where I don't even know what to do. What do you do? They inserted Connor Brown in the lineup, and he looked invisible out there. Corey Perry, he had a good opportunity. It looked like he might have scored last night. It was a nice play by McLeod in front to Corey Perry. Artur Shilov's absolutely robbed him. That's unfortunate, but that's kind of really the only, high danger look I've seen Corey Perry and that line get in this series, and for the most part in the playoffs. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has 6 shots on goal in 8 games at 5-on-5. 6 shots on goal in 8 games at even strength. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, one of the players that you rely on in that top 6 for offense. He's getting a lot of his point production from the power play, which is good. He's contributing to a record-breaking power play in the postseason. But when we look back at that LA Kings series, I mentioned numerous times that the Oilers play at 5-on-5 was not good enough. The LA Kings were, getting a lot of really good looks at 5-on-5, and the Oilers power play really did carry them over the Kings in that series. And in this series, the power play is still clicking, but that penalty kill started to regress, which we all knew it would. You can't just have a 100% penalty kill percentage through an entire postseason. That's just not how life works, no matter how much you want it to. And the Vancouver Canucks, they're also getting contributions from different players in their lineup. Zadorov has a goal. Garland has a goal. Besser has numerous goals here in this series. And, Lindholm has a couple goals now. So for the Oilers, the only contributions they're getting are from Draisaitl, McDavid, and McDavid only has 1 goal in the series, by the way. So when I say contributions from, the big guns, it's not like McDavid is, shooting the lights out. Draisaitl's kind of been the offensive driver of this series at the moment, and he's not even 100%. We don't even know what the extent of his injury is. Evander Kane. Where's Evander Kane? I thought there's a lot of people, a lot of Oilers fans telling me Evander Kane shows up when the lights are brightest. The playoffs are where he does all of his damage. I have yet to see it in this series. He has 1 assist in this series. 1. 1 point. He has very little shots on goal. For the most part, he doesn't look like he's really even engaged. I think he has 9 hits in the last 2 games, which again, that's good. I like the physicality. There's nothing wrong with that. But you also need to start, producing, get some shots on net, get some high danger looks on net. Put a puck in the net. I don't care how it goes in. Shoot it towards Ian Cole, and it'll probably go off of him and in the Canucks net. Every time Ian Cole's on the ice, just throw the puck at Ian Cole. It seems like every goal that the Oilers score is going off of Ian Cole, which if you're a Canucks fan, that must be kind of frustrating to watch. When we look at how close these games have been, every single game has been a 1-goal game. Nobody has been dominating the other on the scoreboard. But the Oilers are, you're getting to a point where as the series progresses, the officials are going to start calling less and less. That's just how the playoffs usually seem to work. Once you hit games, 4, 5, 6, and 7, if you even get that far, the officials kind of start to put the whistle away and you have to start producing at even strength. And for the Oilers right now, it's not there. It's not there. It's nowhere near good enough. It hasn't been good enough. It's been an issue since before the trade deadline. Adam Henrique, one of, the trade that was our biggest trade deadline acquisition. He's hurt. He's not even playing right now. Sam Carrick, healthy scratch. He's unplayable in that bottom 6 because he just doesn't maintain any kind of puck possession when he's out there. It's not good. It's not good. You're probably not feeling good as an Oilers fan right now, and I'm not I'm not helping you feel better. I'm generally a pretty positive person on this channel, but I'm just being super realistic at the moment. The Oilers are just not good enough right now, and you look at this team on paper, they have the more dynamic offensively. I don't want to say offensively gifted players because I don't want to take anything away from the Canucks, but the Oilers have their game breakers. The game breakers are producing, and literally nobody else is producing. And, you can say, oh, well, their expected goals for is getting better, and that's great. That's great. Hockey's not played on a sheet of paper. It's played on a sheet of ice. And as much as I love analytics, it's a results-based business. I know you can look at the analytics and say, oh, well, it's coming. Well, playoffs are short. Playoff series are short. It's a short sample size. Sometimes you get goalied. Sometimes your PDO is in the gutter. At the moment, the Oilers are not doing enough to make Artur Shilov's life miserable in the crease, and they're not getting enough good enough looks. Yeah. Nice job, me. This is what happens when I just start ranting and I don't get my thoughts collected here. So that's what I'm going to discuss. I'm going to end the depth discussion there. It has been a problem for a long time. A lot of fans have known that this was going to be a problem in the playoffs, and it is rearing its ugly head at the moment. So the Oilers, if they want to win the series, they're going to need contributions from people that are not named Draisaitl, McDavid, and Hyman, and Ekholm and Bouchard. That's plain and simple. If they don't start getting production from other players, the series is going to be done in 5, and I'm just being realistic here. Next thing I want to quickly discuss is Carson Soucy, the cross-check to Connor McDavid's face at the end of the game. There was a bit of a stick battle behind the net. McDavid threw, he had a pretty good slash on Soucy, and then Soucy kind of retaliated, and Zadorov came in. So it looked like Soucy was going for a cross-check regardless, but Zadorov came in behind McDavid, cross-checked him, and McDavid went towards Soucy, and it looked like he was already kind of going down as Soucy was in the middle of his cross-checking, physical animation towards McDavid. At the end of the day, you can't cross-check someone in the face. You are always in control of your own stick, and he would have hit McDavid up high regardless of if Zadorov had cross-checked him or not. I think Soucy might get a 1-game suspension. However, with how they've called things in the playoffs, if Sam Bennett is not getting a 1-game suspension for sucker punching Brad Marchand in the jaw and knocking him out cold and knocking him out of the series for the Bruins, I can't imagine Carson Soucy will be suspended on the Canucks. I do know, as of the recording of this video, that the league will be looking at it. Someone tweeted out last night. I forget which media member. I will try and find the tweet and then link it if you want that referenced. I don't, the precedent just hasn't been set by Department of Player Safety. I can't imagine George Parris will actually suspend Carson Soucy. He may fine him for cross-checking, but I think that'll be the extent of it. Should Soucy be suspended? That's up for debate. Like I mentioned, just trying to be neutral on this. Zadorov cross-checking McDavid put him in a position where I think he might not have been hit where he was from Soucy as he was going down. But like I said, Soucy, players, they are in control of their sticks. They're in control of what they do with their sticks. And he was going to hit McDavid up high regardless. So Can you look at intent? He was retaliating for McDavid slashing him, so we'll see where that goes. If Soucy is not suspended, I do imagine the Oilers will have something to say to him in Game 4. I think there will be a message being sent by the Oilers, whether it's Evander Kane that does it or whoever. Obviously, you can't allow someone on Vancouver to do that. But the more concerning issue for me from that Soucy play was there were pretty much 4 Canucks dogpiling on McDavid after he went down, and the Oilers on the ice. Yes, the game was over. Maybe they were late reacting. I just find that they didn't have that that dog pile mentality. Just you see your captain go down and get cross-checked like that. I don't care if you're called for the instigator and you get suspended next game. You've got to send a message on the ice at that point. And Vancouver, they had 4. It was 4-on-1 basically on McDavid when he went down. The Oilers were late reacting to it. I would have liked to see a pack mentality. We'll see how they respond in Game 4. Game 4 will be very telling. Just not only with the response, but just how Edmonton comes out against Vancouver after that Soucy play on their captain. So I will leave it at that. Next player I'm going to talk about, Stuart Skinner. Listen, if you've been with me on this channel for the last several months, you will know that I've been a Stuart Skinner defender, during the 16-game win streak. And then even when the win streak ended and he had that little lull in February, but then he bounced back. The last half of the season for Skinner was very good for the most part. Yes, he's prone to these ups and downs. Young players, young goaltenders are prone to those. Like, that happens. Consistency is always a problem for young goalies. He's only in his second full season as a goaltender, and he's been thrust into this situation because Jack Campbell was unplayable last year, and he was unplayable this year, and he spent his time in the AHL this year. And I don't actually see Jack Campbell being an option at all in the playoffs. And if they go to Jack Campbell for Game 4, I would be incredibly surprised. I just do not expect that to happen. I had a few people in the chat last night during the live stream, mention Jack Campbell. Maybe he should play. Listen, it's been Skinner and Pickard all year. If Skinner is not starting Game 4, it's going to be Calvin Pickard. They will not play Jack Campbell over Calvin Pickard. Calvin Pickard has earned that opportunity as the backup, but this has been a problem in Edmonton for 2 years now, the goaltending. Stuart Skinner, I thought he played good in that LA Kings series, and he is playing very poorly in the Canucks series. And it's not even, you can't even say that Vancouver has figured out where to shoot on Skinner. He's being beat everywhere. He's being beat 5-hole. He's being beat over the shoulder, over the glove, over the blocker. It doesn't matter where the shot comes from. Skinner is getting beat, and it's just not good enough. A lot of people wanted another goaltender at the trade deadline, someone that could platoon with Skinner. I thought a trade for a goaltender would be a little unrealistic, just considering who was out there on the market, what you would have had to give up for Stuart Skinner. And to the fans that, continue to blast me for defending Skinner, I still defend him. I love Stuart Skinner. I think he will be a big part of this team for his entire career, if not a large portion of his career. But at the end of the day, you do need a save. And, I am starting to turn around on maybe the Oilers should have improved their goaltending depth before the trade deadline. And it's hard to listen. Ken Holland is the highest paid GM in the NHL. It is hard to make trades in season. I get that, especially the goaltender market. The goaltending market was a little strange this year. Not a whole lot of, significant goaltenders were moved, and the ones that did move, the prices, could Edmonton have paid them? Yeah. Would they have, moved the needle for them? Maybe. Maybe. It's just, we can speculate all we want. Can we be mad that they didn't try? Well, we don't know what happened behind the scenes. Maybe Ken Holland really did try and get another goaltender. It doesn't strike me as the kind of person that did try and get another goalie. But Stuart Skinner, it's unfortunate because I want him to succeed. I want him to do well. I want him to be part of a cup-winning team one day. But 2 years in a row in the second round, he is a major reason why this team is not winning right now. The Oilers have had a lead in every game in this series. And where have we heard that before? Well, their series against the Vegas Golden Knights last year. They had a lead in every single game in that series and found a way to lose it, either through lack of depth scoring or through poor goaltending. And right now we're getting both. The Oilers have a lack of goal scoring depth and a lack of goaltending. I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at on Stuart Skinner. It's unfortunate. I'm upset about it because I love Skinner. I've been defending him all year. I still love Skinner. I love Stu. I think he's great. But maybe he just I don't know if it's a mental thing. I don't know if he's rattled. I don't know if there's too much pressure on him. I think we all thought that after last year against Vegas, second year in the NHL, bit more experience, might be able to handle that pressure. It doesn't look good at the moment. And when it comes to who starts game 4, I would imagine Calvin Pickard is going to get the start. Unless they want, you're not going to start Skinner and risk going down. If you're going to go down 3-1 in the series anyways, make the change for game 4. Don't make it in an elimination game. Don't start Skinner in game 4, and if you end up losing because of it, now you're putting Calvin Pickard in a situation where the Oilers have to win 3 straight games. That would be a mistake to me. If you're going to make the goalie switch, you have to do it in game 4. If Pickard steals you one, great. If you end up losing and you're down 3-1 in the series, well, you can go back to Skinner for game 5 and you go from there. But for the Oilers, there's a lot of work to be done here, and in net, a lot of question marks. And when it comes to different lineup changes, I have my thoughts on that. If you follow me on Twitter, I put out a tweet last night. There's a reason why I'm not an NHL head coach, but some of the changes that I would have, or I would be making, I will talk about Nurse-Ceci. So game 4 lineup changes. If I was head coach, there's a reason I'm not a head coach, by the way. I would take Nurse-Ceci out. I would put Broberg and Stetcher in. Literally, I would just replace that entire pair of Nurse-Ceci. I would put Broberg and Stetcher in. They literally could not be worse when it comes to, the statistics. There's literally no way they could actually be worse than what Nurse-Ceci have been. I would take Derek Ryan and Corey Perry out, and I would put Sam Gagner and Raph Lavoie in. Like I said, there's a reason why I'm not a head coach. However, Corey Perry, we're getting nothing from him. Derek Ryan, we're getting nothing. Sam Gagner, give him a chance to play in front of the home ice crowd for the first time in his career in the playoffs. The team that drafted him, watch him just bring that heart and soul. I think Sam Gagner, if you're relying on Gagner to provide offense, that's more of a reflection of the roster flaws than anything. But I want Sam Gagner in this lineup. He's overdue, and there's too many guys that are not pulling their weight right now and not producing. And then I would take Stuart Skinner out and put Calvin Pickard in. Those would be my changes for game 4. That's just me personally. You can check out some of the stuff I tweet out after games. I was pretty emotional last night. I usually try and remain level-headed. When I create these videos, when I create content, I do really try and make sure that I have my thoughts collected and I have my talking points ready to go. Last night, I was pretty emotional at the loss because I thought it was another game where Edmonton threw away, and I just threw out a post-game reaction. Today, again, my thoughts are more collected, but you can tell I'm still a little on edge, a little emotional here. But we're going to transition now to Nurse-Ceci. Again, we've beaten this horse so many times. This is 3 straight postseasons where this defense pair is completely unplayable. They are outchanced every time they're on the ice. They have not moved the needle at all in terms of helping the Oilers on offense. And yes, Stuart Skinner should be making some saves. It's not like Nurse-Ceci are at fault for all of these goals, but at the end of the day, you look at the stats, you look at who's on the ice for goals for, who's on the ice for goals against. Nurse-Ceci are completely unplayable. The expected goals for percentage, the actual goals for percentage, this defense pair sucks. It sucks. They suck. There's no defending this at this point. Nobody can defend this anymore. 3 years in a row. You can say against Colorado, well, you know what? The Oilers had a good run. Colorado was just better. Yes, they were. Colorado was unbelievable in 2022. There's a reason why they won the Cup. The series against Vegas, again, was Vegas better? Possibly. I thought the Oilers, for the most part, controlled play in that series, but Nurse-Ceci were the two that were feasted on. And before this series started, I had mentioned Nurse-Ceci would be targeted by the Vancouver Canucks. I put out a video back in February talking about Cody Ceci. I called it the Cody Ceci conundrum. That's literally what the video is called. Discussing the last 2 playoff seasons, discussing why they needed to upgrade on him before the playoffs this year. And Ken Holland picked up Troy Stetcher, which I thought was a good but not great move. He's someone that, can play in the top 4. Do you want him playing in there regularly? Probably not. He's more of a 5-6 guy. At this point, you have to take Cody Ceci out. I'm sorry, you have to. You can't keep playing him. You can't. Put Troy Stetcher in this lineup. And Chris Knobloch will never go 11-7. That is not how he rolls. That is not his thing. That was a Jay Woodcroft thing. 11 forwards, 7 defensemen. That is something that I would highly consider if you want to limit certain guys' minutes. Vinny and Kulak, they're not playing amazing, but they're treading water. They're playing even hockey, and that's all I want from Nurse-Ceci. Just tread water, man. Just be even for once in the shot department and the chances department. Just be even. It shouldn't be hard to ask from a player making $9.25 million and a player that is on the second pair. And it's not Cody Ceci's fault he's on the second pair. This comes down to coaching, and this comes down to Ken Holland not upgrading him when he should have, which should have been last year in the offseason after the Vegas series, and that should have been mid-season at some point before the trade deadline, at the trade deadline. At the end of the day, Ken Holland did not upgrade Cody Ceci. He did not upgrade that right side. It's been a weak point all year. Scoring depth has been a weak point all year. This falls on Ken Holland right now. And then we'll just transition from Nurse-Ceci to unsustainable ice time. Like I mentioned, McDavid and Draisaitl, I'm just going to pull up the stats here. Connor McDavid, let's take a look. Evan Bouchard played 31-24. He played over half the game last night, and the game didn't even go to overtime. Leon Draisaitl played 29 minutes and 4 seconds. Again, the game didn't even go to overtime, and he played almost half the game. And Leon Draisaitl's not even at 100%. That's unbelievable. Nugent Hopkins played 22-32. I didn't even notice him. You could have told me that Nugent Hopkins played 22 minutes last night, and I would not have believed you. That's how unnoticeable he's been. Connor McDavid, 29-42. They are going to run these guys into the ground. Zach Hyman, 26-12. They are going to run their forwards into the ground. The longer the series goes with those types of ice time, the better it is for the Canucks. Plain and simple. They're going to be bagged if they don't find a win in Game 4, and if Chris Knoblauch doesn't find a way to spread the ice time around. I mentioned depth scoring, but it's pretty hard for guys like, Janmark to get going when he only plays 6 minutes. Derek Ryan played 7:33. Connor Brown played 8 minutes. Warren Fogle played 8:45. Corey Perry played 9:45. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 of your forwards played less than 10 minutes last night on the ice. And I don't even think they played particularly poorly, honestly. They're not playing good enough. Connor Brown, I don't think, had a great game. They're not playing good enough to get, 15 or 16 minutes. But I don't think they're playing bad enough where you're only playing these guys, 6 or 7 minutes. So Chris Knoblauch, he's got to find a way to spread out the ice time and trust some of his players here. At the end of the day, this does fall on Ken Holland. Once again, he's the one that's in charge of roster construction, but Chris Knoblauch is not helping himself with his ice time allocation. He's not helping himself with his, player deployment. And I look at the defense pairs last night. Kulak played 13:30, and Desharnais only played 10:45. So that makes me think Desharnais might not be 100%. Desharnais has been trusted in a lot of situations throughout the playoffs, and if he's playing less than 11 minutes, that's strange to me for Vinny. So ice time allocation, this is unsustainable from Edmonton. You can't just play your top 5 players. I called them the Russian 5, I think, yesterday, or even in this video earlier. It's already been an almost 30-minute video, so who knows what I said at the beginning, but they're playing their version of the Russian 5 way too much, and it's going to bite them in the butt. You can't play them this much. It's completely unsustainable. This is a super negative point for the team right now. There's got to be lineup changes for Game 4, not just in net, but also on defense and up front at forward too. So that's pretty much my main thoughts here. I don't have a whole lot else to say. This is one of my longest videos I've done. There was a lot to talk about. I appreciate you if you've stuck around and have watched this whole video up to this point. It does truly mean a lot. Game 4, if Edmonton wins, then it becomes a best of 3. If Vancouver wins, well, Edmonton will have to win 3 straight. Vancouver has won 6 of 7 against Edmonton this season through the regular season and the playoffs. The Oilers now have to win 3 of 4 to take this series from the Canucks, and that's a daunting task. There's a lot of work to be done. Can the Oilers do it? Yes. Will they? Well, they're going to have to prove it, and there's a lot of players on this team that have to step up and prove that, you want to be a cup contender, you got to show it now. You want to say that you contributed on a cup contender team, you are good enough to be on a cup contending team. It's time to prove it. Step up, prove it, get the job done. That's plain and simple. Get the job done. Chris Knoblauch, make necessary adjustments. Paul Coffey for the defenseman, make some adjustments here, because right now what we're seeing is it's not working. And they need to do something very quickly. They have very little runway left to make adjustments, so hopefully they are able to do that. But that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed today's Day After discussion. If you liked it, make sure you hit that like button. If you really liked it, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you tell someone that you love them today, all right? Have a wonderful Monday, Oil Country. I will see you tomorrow for the pregame report, and then I will see you tomorrow night for another live stream, and hopefully the Oilers can tie this thing up. So take care, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day. Love all of you. Thank you for the support. You're literally the best. I'll see you soon. All right. Take care.